Wow, look at that technique for cutting the. Wow, that was incredible. We're off to a great start in this match. I think that was really something. Everybody, take notes on that. We might have to clip that and post that somewhere. That was really something. Scott, thank you for the gift sub. 105 now on the channel for Scott. Incredible. That was a creative technique, yeah. Exactly. Yeah, I think we need someone else to break the hype train open. Misty Rainforest, pass from Phil.
Good.
That is Tinder Farm. The creative technique makes use of some lands that many of us have forgotten about or never seen before if you're newer to the game. Tinder Farm can sack to make 2 mana, otherwise it enters taps and taps for green.
Good. Thank you.
Scott is hoping for a hype train, wants that hype train conductor badge, it seems.
I'm happy, bro.
Yep. I'm actually going to force pitching force. 14 3. Join.
Yeah, we may start like fighting with the chat to start hype trains. I think if someone cheered like 5 bits right now, it would trigger, but I'm not sure. That's another Tinder Farm, I believe, and double fetch from Phil here.
Yep. This will be open information. If I take any of these cards, you'll see.
Okay.
This is my hand.
These two. Pass turn.
Light Confidant, thank you for the bits, and that has triggered the hype train. Thank you, Light Confidant.
Yeah. 1 second, and then this will all be open information.
Take your time.
Tolerac, when you're sitting next to the feature match, please be quiet.
Okay.
All right, that's a.
Yes.
I'm just playing. I'm obviously kidding. Sulfur Falls for Francesco. That sounded more mean than I wanted it to. Brainstorm for Phil.
Yes.
I will deal 1 damage to Palace Jailer. Okay.
All right, Phil cracking a fetch. Yeah, Phil is quite forceful, and yeah, we know what you mean. It's force of Phil. These have been some crazy cuts of the deck from Francesco. It may be more than this stream can really handle, if we're being honest. It's just been unhinged.
All right. Thank you.
Francesco, just relax.
If you'd like to.
Do I need to...
If you'd like to.
Same ones?
Oh, here's another cut. Uh-oh. Okay. Another interesting cut. Draw an upkeep from Portent.
Be on place.
Let's see. So we've hit the 6 mana mark potentially. Francesco would have to sack all 3 lands to produce 6. But let's see what Francesco has in store for us. This is the sweet spot as far as mana for creative technique.
5.
I'll keep it.
Go ahead.
After your turn, attempt to cast Brainstorm.
Okay, there's Ancient Tomb. That's a land drop. Pass the turn.
Go ahead. 2 back.
Yep.
Francesco not going off just yet. Has reached now potentially 8 total mana. There's City of Traders.
Go to my instead.
The Cavern Souls and Wizard for Wizard mana. Like Edge of Autumn. Draw this card.
Sacrifice
Try to play
for blue red.
Okay.
All right, sacking Sulfur Falls for blue-red. And making a green from the other Tinder farm.
Game, one game.
Maelstrom Wanderer just hit the stack. Double Cascade, first Cascade resolve, says Phil.
Yeah, no, I didn't.
Creative technique right off the top.
And I was using the counter. Or if you had another
Is demonstrating part of the
spell,
cast?
yeah.
Sure. When you cast the spell, you may copy it. Okay. Are you choosing to copy it?
No.
Sure. Okay. So just.
No demonstrate on creative technique.
Well, this cascade is now on the stack, right?
This one is not Cascade. I mean, I have to shuffle.
Oh, it's an effect. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Go ahead. Okay.
So, 1 second.
So you have a cascade on the stack, and now this is here, right?
Yes, and then there is this one.
Which is
Because
on.
it's Cascade. This is Cascade.
Yeah.
Which is resolving first this one, right?
That one was also.
Yes, so I have to shuffle.
Okay.
And then this one Cascade. I don't copy.
You don't copy, yeah.
Okay, they confused me for a second there that they had it wrong, but it seems like they have it right. Creative technique is resolving.
One.
And it's boarding party.
Okay, so this is off.
So boarding party now has hit the stack, or at least its Cascade trigger has hit the stack.
Is it you may cast it now or cast it this turn?
I might cast it.
Okay, so you yeah, so you might cast it.
I might cast this one.
When you're behind like that, and you're
This one is gone.
Yeah. Okay, cascade resolve.
This one.
part of that.
Okay, now Cascade trigger from boarding party. And I think we're just going to be looking for another copy of Creative Technique. We're moving a little bit slowly here, but we are looking for it.
It was definitely a more fair game. I'm not getting blown out.
So you can see my this one.
But I guess you have.
Okay, that is a copy of Creative Technique, as expected.
Yeah.
So this one
I think
results.
my-
Put it on the bottom.
Well, this
I'm
is
also sort of new to
Yes,
this deck.
Yeah.
but there is the cascade of this one.
I
This is
normally
the
play
Cascade
Death
edition.
Taxes, but
No, yes, but this one
I
is-
always had blue decks.
This is still on
I
the
was
stack
playing
because this is
Delver for a bit
this is
and
resolving
now
off the
we're,
cascade, right?
Trying
Yes,
this
but
list. I feel like this list
cards,
is good
should I
against
put them on the bottom?
Delver.
Yeah, and then you shuffle and
but
then you
also good
reveal
against
this.
the
Yeah,
four color decks.
you can shuffle.
So I,
This one?
yeah, all the bean stuff. So
Okay, so now Creative Technique is going to resolve. It does not look like Francesco is choosing to demonstrate. So underneath Creative Technique on the stack, let's just keep track here. We have a boarding party, another Cascade trigger, which is the black face down card. And then we have Maelstrom Wanderer. Here is the Phoenix Cascade card.
Another cascade.
I like the short games where there's a lot of decisions versus like a grind game where I'm just like
So
commenting. So
Yeah, cascade.
Oh,
Yes.
this was also very fun.
All right, now a Cascade from the Phoenix.
Yeah, Sam and I were just talking about this.
There's a copy of Emrakul.
I went to an SCG tournament
Yeah.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
I just went to time over and over and over.
Oh,
I got home and was like,
Sorry about that.
can't do that.
no. And like the physical aspects of playing Magic, like those are sometimes you always kind of forget about them. Like if you're playing like I don't know, back in like those miracle top miracle
Good
days.
shuffle
Just like the constant
Yeah,
manipulating
no
the
demonstrate.
deck, the constant like keeping information in your brain. So intense focus for a long period of time.
Let's see what
The
we are going to
first
see with this creative
legacy
technique.
big tournament I enter was GP Seattle 2015,
Nice.
and that was when top miracles and Charlottesburg.
All right, so now
That's right at the time. Like that was.
another Creative Technique. Finds another Phoenix.
That's the one where
Cascade
Jarvis you beat
Yeah.
Christian Calcano in the finals and won with Lance. Right.
one.
And so that's I think day one, like every round was going. You know,
And found another Creative Technique.
physical aspects definitely matter a lot.
No demonstrates so far.
It was 90, I would need some.
We should be at 19.
Okay, you're okay with that?
Yeah.
This one?
Yep.
Boarding party now.
Alright. Good luck.
Cascade off of that. How many copies of Creative Technique were cast so far this turn? Is that 3?
It's the proactive. Like at least no, I don't care about that.
I'm an, I think that they're all gone.
I'm at 18.
So what happens?
So if you shuffle, if you, so your whole deck's gonna flip over?
Yes.
All right, can I take a look?
Yeah. Because all of them are gone.
Okay.
Okay, so all 4 Creative Techniques are gone, so we're done with that.
And then there is still this one on the stack.
Okay. If you want to shuffle up, all of these are in play. This is off the stack.
Yeah.
This is still on the stack.
Okay, so all of those spells are now on the stack, and Cascade is almost completely done.
Can't even remember when
Phil is going to fetch. The Maelstrom Wanderer Cascade trigger is still in the stack, I believe.
I mean, so I'm rocking, but not in the right moment.
I'm going to force this.
Okay, hard cast force on the Maelstrom Wanderer, that makes sense.
I go to combat? Yep.
Alright, boarding parties get in there.
Off of a. Okay. Off of a plateau.
Someday.
Turn myself.
Yes.
Port in for Phil. Looking for Terminus. I believe that is Cosmic Rebirth in Phil's hand. Good catch by Scott.
Wasteland you? Yep. Go.
Awful lot of basics over there.
Yeah.
I'll pass.
Maybe we're going back.
That is Aurora Phoenix, the other creature on the battlefield.
Alright, this is my hand. I will go to 6.
Yep.
I'll target myself.
All right, port in to start the game for Phil.
I'm gonna cast Memories Journey, pitching this. I'm thinking about that.
I'll pass to you.
Is there a difference between Creative Technique and, let's say, Breakfast or Storm, or we just saw Ruby Storm the previous round, or Mystic Forge, or other decks that kind of go infinite, or what? Why? It seems like some people in the chat don't like this deck, or some people in the YouTube comments may also not like this Creative Technique deck and find the gameplay to be somehow toxic or something. What is the reason for that? What separates it from other decks that kind of just play solitaire, in your opinion? Does anybody want to elaborate for the class?
I can. I know there's.
All right, here's Triumph of St. Catherine off the top, miracled in for Force of Phil.
Pass turn right, exile the top sketch cards in my library, shuffle it in, and put it back on top.
Upkeep.
It's a death trigger. It does touch
No,
the
actually. Yeah, why not?
I'll play this.
No, I can drop it. I already fetched earlier. Yeah, I can let drop.
So you said it resolves.
Start. That's a start.
Okay.
It's a creature.
It's a 5/5 creature. With lifelink.
Okay, there's Sandstone Needle. Is that land drop for Francesco?
Cycle Edge of Autumn. Yep. Draw. Blue and black floating. Use that bonus straight duress.
Yeah, you got it. Good game.
I appreciate the slow roll.
Yeah.
And I can force it in.
Yeah, you would snap it off on the brainstorm too, right? Because you know the rest of my cards. Yeah. Good.
Yeah, it seems like Francesco doesn't have a lot of reps with this deck just yet, which is fine. And maybe there was some. There could have been a more efficient way of keeping track of everything there in game one. Hype Train Conductor Light Confidant is absolutely right. Teferi Time Raveler is great against Technique.
This deck is particularly heavy on
Force of Phil with quite a clock here, but looks like Francesco is going for it here. Here's Boarding Party.
the other hand. I maybe should have kept.
Cascade Trigger. We're going to be looking for Creative Technique here. That was Let the Galaxy Burn, Maelstrom Wanderer, Aurora Phoenix.
Surgical. If you had surgical and messed up the top.
That was Emrakul, the Aeon's Torn. Here's Creative Technique.
Well, okay. If you had surgical before I drew it, I may have forced because I know your hand, right?
Right.
that means you shuffle.
You were
You
drawing.
shuffle
Yeah,
and
I
then-
left it
So
on
you have two
top.
copies.
So I could have gotten the force out potential.
Okay, so this time Francesco is choosing to demonstrate. Phil will get a copy. Phil's copy resolves first of Creative Technique.
Sacrificing
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, because I don't. I had a
Yours
discard
first and
spell.
mine.
You don't have it.
No,
You're
I
just-
don't have any. That would make it way easier.
I mean, I'm just taking out my
Just so
slow
the
stuff.
stack is clear for them.
Right.
So you have two copies like this full.
Cast
Do you have Shieldred in your deck? Like a
All right, Phil's copy of Creative Technique is now going to resolve. It reveals Cosmic Rebirth, card we were just talking about earlier.
Okay, so I'll cast this. I'll
That's
target.
smart. Like,
What's that?
I would never bring it in against you. And the reason that it was good against Is It Delver is because they couldn't remove it.
Okay.
All right, Cosmic Rebirth returns Misty Rainforest to the battlefield.
Holy heat, and for me, I'm taking out in that case. This is all obsolete.
Now Francesco will resolve a copy of Creative Technique, not the original. This is the copy created by Demonstrate.
And the Galaxy Bird.
Let the Galaxy Burn is found. That'll trigger Cascade. This card is not yet on MTGO, as it's in the Warhammer 40k set, but is a key card in the tabletop version of Creative Technique.
there's multiple. There could be.
So now cascading with Let the Galaxy Burn, that will most likely find another copy of Creative Technique. Francesco cascading here.
Is this one demonstrated?
Let me think.
Okay.
Okay, so Phil asks, is this Creative Technique going to demonstrate? And it looks like the answer is yes. So Phil will now resolve a copy of Creative Technique.
I still have 3 of them. Wow.
Are you running EW?
Francesco is excited about the possibility of 3 Creative Techniques resolving this turn.
I'm debating between this deck and Death and Taxes.
Let's see what Phil has in store for us.
There's a lot of fair games right now, and
Yep. Yep.
I don't know. I feel like
All right, Phil will resolve a Ponder now.
like Jack's.
Yeah, I mean,
I feel like I kept getting outgrinded
yeah.
because you sort of changed the texture of the
Design.
deck a little bit.
This is on the stack.
What flavor
Yeah.
are you playing?
I do either way with like just plain.
Mind Break Trap getting cast here from hand by Force of Phil. That could end the turn. Counter all 3 copies of Creative Technique, or exile them, and Boarding Party as well.
I play,
So it exiles them all.
but
Exile.
like,
Yeah.
Spirit is really soft against Bowmaster.
All right, Mind Break Trap ends it. Yeah, Let the Galaxy Burn was still on the stack, I guess. I kind of lost track now, if I'm being honest. Mystic Sanctuary fetch, put Mind Break Trap on top.
I bet it slaps though against Bowmasters. Like, what are you gonna do? Yeah.
Attacking now for 10. That puts Francesco down to 3. Fill up to 36. Some fetches could find some more Mystic Sanctuaries. Put Mind Break Track back on top. Looks like Francesco could be out of time in this game.
I
think that's where-
Oh, okay.
For free, but then because you can cast
Oh,
it, right?
interesting.
So
I can cast it as for a 4-drop,
dashes
or
to
if
the
you
fairy.
play 3 or more spells, I can cast it for
to
free.
draw the illusion.
And I have like a clock against
In case I need to
callbacks with
pitch
Cauldron, but
That makes sense.
Oh, let's go to the next
we'll
one.
see. I think
Easily have to-
I don't.
All right, that gets a scoop from Francesco, knowing Mindbreak Trap is in hand. We're going to game 3.
But which was the movie with Leonardo DiCaprio and the,
Oh, you're right. That's Cascade.
the
Yeah,
top
Cascade. There you go. This is what this deck should be
That's
called.
Inception.
Inception? Good. I never understood that.
All right, a mulligan to 6 for Force of Fill and ready to go. Sandstone Needle pass.
Ponder?
Yes.
Is a Tundra into Ponder for Phil. Draws a card, passes the turn. So does Phil have Mindbreak Trap again? I didn't see it in hand. It could be there.
Oh my god.
That is, I forgot what that land is called. It's the green Sandstone Needle. We'll see if Twitch chat knows what it's called. Don't remember off the top of my head. Hickory Woodlot? Is that what it's called? That name just popped in my head. Am I right? I'm not looking it up.
This deck is giving life.
I'm right. It is Woodlot. All right. Up the Beanstalk for Force of Fill. That card is broken, right, chat? Wow.
Oh, did you? I might play Johnny in the next round. A family feud, if you can call it.
What were they thinking when they designed Up the Beanstalk, chat?
But we're actually from the.
All right, there's another Sandstone Needle.
My parents are.
Another Ponder for Phil.
Beijing is not a small city.
What?
Beijing is not a small city.
No, it's not.
Brought to you by 8th edition at X.
It's so there's Li is like the most. It's I think the top one of the top 3 most common last names in China.
Fluffy is excited about this whole situation.
Not like Smith or whatever last names are out there. So it's like it's pretty common last name. But yeah, so John's visiting China like in the next couple weeks.
Were you born there?
No, I was born here.
Yeah, Jace Pink is warning Force of Fill right now. 3 lands about to get hit.
I'd like to tell you,
Yeah. Or I think maybe he is. I don't know. I'm not though.
So as we know from games 1 and 2, 6 mana is kind of the sweet spot for this Creative Technique deck. Playing another Hickory land. Now has access to 8 mana, but going to tap the 3 other open lands to produce 6 mana. Let's see what Francesco does here.
What was that? That was like.
Aurora Phoenix. And now going to Cascade. And this will be Creative Technique. It's the only less than 6 mana value card in the deck, most likely. Saw Emrakul in there. Hitting Emrakul off Creative Technique is kind of the dream. Or the plan, or whatever.
Pointing out all the Yakuza bosses that were there.
There is a copy of Creative Technique.
There's nothing illegal, but he has to deal with these guys.
Yeah.
Demonstrate or no?
There's some, if they want to like get you like canceled, they can.
Like real kids.
Yeah, like really
Not like
No.
Yeah. Like,
No demonstrate on this Creative Technique. So the cards go on the bottom. And Phil's going to respond with Force of Negation, pitching Ponder to counter Creative Technique. Okay. Just a 5/3 creature on the board for Francesco now. Doesn't have haste. 5/3 flyer. I mean, that's quite a clock. There's a brainstorm for Phil.
if you go to Hammond Square, Great Wall of China, all these places, you're good. Kind of take a picture with you, but it's gotten like it's way better now. I think it's more people
They're playing more cool.
Yeah. Girls are playing more cool now.
Yeah, it's true that when I was there more recently, it wasn't as big a deal. It was pre-COVID.
15 years ago.
Well, 7 years ago when I was there.
Oh, were you there for the Olympics then?
No, I was flying home from India, and they do a new 24-hour visa. So
In India.
no, in Beijing.
Oh, wow.
So we got incredibly cheap tickets to Delhi from New York for like $500 on Air China. And of course, the reason that they're so cheap is that you fly to Beijing.
All right, there's the Fallen Empire's blue sack for 2 mana land. Sphelenite Temple or something? I don't know. Sacking the red and the green with the last remaining counters to make 6 mana. Let the galaxy
The
burn.
one-day visa, my friend, on the way out, we went to Tiananmen Square. On the way back, we did one of the close day trips.
Looking for another copy of Creative Technique.
When I was there in 2008, I took
And there it is.
a big hotel, like Western hotels, and unfortunately rented one of the tours that takes us to
Oh, that was Dwarven Ruins. Yeah, it's the red one. My bad. It's not blue. It's red. Thank you, chat.
my partner and I at the time were staying in a
No demonstrate.
like, is there another thing we can do? And they said, sure, you can just hire a car and they'll take you to the far away place. Not do none of that. And so I did that, and it was awesome.
What does that mean?
Force of Will, pitching Brainstorm. And Miracle Trigger. From the up the Beanstalk puts Triumph into play, draw a card.
You should go climb.
Pretty good turn there for Phil. This Triumph of St. Catherine will race the Aurora Phoenix pretty nicely.
The hillside. I was like, oh, that sounds right. So I walk up there, and there's a giant sign in English. And it's
Triumph of St. Catherine. A 5/5 with lifelink. And it is possible that Francesco will have to keep this Aurora Phoenix back on defense to block it at some point if Francesco can't get another chain running.
Did you go up there?
I did. I got some sweet photos. It was epic.
There we go. That's so funny.
There was no one else there. So
There's another copy of Sandstone Needle attacking with the Aurora Phoenix. Passing the turn to Phil, plays another Beanstalk, trigger draw.
Was that like what?
Attack with Triumph of St. Catherine. It's a clock. Francesco down to 10.
I just remember whatever it was, I wasn't.
Should Francesco have been demonstrating these creative techniques? There's been 2 so far countered on the stack. Curious what Twitch chat thinks. Aurora Phoenix attacking. Phil down to 13.
That's awesome. I was going to go back this.
Fetch down to 12 is Phil. Mystic Sanctuary.
Did you move to New York?
Force of Will on top. Twitch chat seems to think so. We'll see what the YouTube commenters think. I haven't played this creative technique deck myself, but it's looking like possibly demonstrating would have been better here. Attacking with Triumph of St. Catherine.
I was doing finance for 2 years.
I was at twice because I fetched.
Like techie, finance.
Gizlo says I demonstrate versus Force of Will decks almost every time. Maybe Mind Break Track, maybe Francesco Paranoid, possibly.
7 years that you lived in China. Any idea where you go for your MBA?
I want to stay close.
It's also possible Francesco is just trying to clean out Phil's hand and I don't know. Maybe there's a plan here.
I don't think I'll get into hard.
All right, here's Let the Galaxy Burn once again. And Cascade trigger into Creative Technique. Demonstrate. It looks like this time Phil will get an opportunity to get a copy. So Phil's copy of Creative Technique will resolve first. It is the top thing on the stack. And let's see what Phil finds. Cosmic Rebirth again. Two copies of Creative Technique on the stack for Francesco, along with a copy of Let the Galaxy Burn. Phil's gonna tap 5 mana. Maybe not. Force of Negation on the copy. Okay. And then fetch down to 19. Is this just hard cast Force on the original?
It's like Warhammer Lock and Shove.
Mystic Sanctuary putting Force of Negation back on top, I think Phil said.
This is all the stuff.
Force of Will on the original Creative Technique. Let the Galaxy Burn is apparently off the stack. And now Entreat the Angels for Phil. I'm not sure if Up the Beanstalk trigger was missed there. I kind of missed that. But here's Entreat the Angel. X is 6.
Oh, I think a lot of people want it. I think a lot of people want it, which is why it's up.
2 draws of Up the Beanstalk. Attack with Triumph of St. Catherine. It gets blocked by the Aurora Phoenix. Triumph will die and trigger. Shuffle into the top 7 cards of Phil's deck.
Let's see. I might have a couple of outs.
Fully a Delver player. Like, come on, man.
Okay, Francesco says I might have a couple of outs.
Ida and Ottawara.
I know he would have flipped the table if
Francesco said I need Otawara. I'm not sure for what. Ancient Tomb. Can make a lot of mana here. 12 mana. Didn't have blue mana, I guess. Oh, that's why he said it needs Otawara, I guess. I see. All right, Force of Phil gets it. Nicely played by Force of Phil.